Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Hypatia of Alexandria, a critical evaluation of her commentary on Diophantus. The extant fragments of Hypatia's commentary on Diophantus arithmetic are present, a unique challenge to the modern scholar. The scarcity of preserved material necessitates a meticulous analysis of what remains, focusing intensely upon the internal logic and arguments presented within those fragments. This essay undertakes such an evaluation, aiming to illuminate the core claims, methodologies, and implications of Hypatia's work, viewed through the lens of its internal coherence and intellectual context. It avoids speculative pronouncements on her broader philosophical stance, concentrating solely on elucidating what we can confidently ascertain from the surviving text itself. Section 1: Introduction to Diophantine Analysis and Hypatia's Approach. Hypatia's commentary, even in its fragmented state, reveals a deep engagement with Diophantus' methods of indeterminate analysis. Diophantus, in his Arithmetica, explored equations with multiple solutions. Employing a series of ingenious techniques to find specific, rational solutions, Hypatia did not simply transmit Diophantus' work, she actively engaged with it. A commentary, as far as we can determine from the meagre surviving fragments, appears to focus on clarifying and extending Diophantus' procedures. We find evidence of her explaining his methods, providing alternative solutions, and potentially, though the evidence is admittedly scant, developing new methodologies within the framework of Diophantine analysis. The surviving portions suggest a clear focus on a precise, step-by-step elucidation of Diophantus' techniques, rather than a general overview or philosophical commentary on its broader mathematical implications. This careful, almost pedagogical approach is a crucial component of understanding Hypatia's contribution. Section 2: Hypatia's elucidation of Diophantus' method or false position. A significant portion of the preserved fragments seems to center on Diophantus' use of the method of false position. This technique, common in ancient mathematics, involved making an initial guess, observing the error, and then correcting the guess proportionally. Hypatia's commentary, as evidenced by the fragments, lightly delves into the finer points of this method, explaining its effectiveness and perhaps outlining its limitations. These sections likely provided a series of worked examples, demonstrating the application of the method in various Diophantine problems. The underlying claim within these sections appears to be that the method of false position, while seemingly ad hoc, possessed underlying mathematical rigor that could be rigorously explained and justified through carefully reasoned algebraic manipulations. This emphasis on rigorous justification underscores Hypatia's commitment to a clear and precise mathematical presentation. Section 3: Hypatia on the solution of indeterminate equations. The core of Diophantus' work lies in finding rational solutions to indeterminate equations, namely polynomial equations in multiple variables. Hypatia's contribution, from the perspective of the remaining texts, appears most strongly in her explication of various techniques used to tackle these problems. She doesn't appear to substantially advance the theory itself, but rather to improve the clarity and accessibility of Diophantus' techniques. The fragments suggest a deep focus on detailed explanations of solution strategies, including carefully laid out intermediate steps and algebraic manipulations. The implicit claim, therefore, is that these problems were solvable through a systematic application of well-defined procedures, rather than relying on mere intuition or trial and error. The systematic exposition that her fragments suggest demonstrates a powerful pedagogy. Section 4: Analysis of Hypatia's commentary on specific Diophantine problems. The surviving portions often concern themselves with the specific analysis of particular problems within Diophantus Arithmetica. This suggests that Hypatia's commentary was not a general overview of Diophantine analysis, but was instead a highly detailed and focused study of specific problems and their solutions. By delving deeply into individual cases, Hypatia presumably aimed to illuminate the underlying principles and techniques through concrete application. This approach implicitly affirms the importance of detailed case studies in establishing and strengthening mathematical understanding. The surviving texts unfortunately do not allow for a full reconstruction of her analysis, leaving ample room for future discoveries and scholarly interpretation. Section 5. Hypatia's potential contributions to the development of algebraic notation. While the evidence is scant and indirect, some scholars suggest that Hypatia may have contributed towards the development of concise algebraic notation. Indeed, the very act of creating a clear and comprehensive commentary may have necessitated improvements in the means of representing mathematical relationships. The commentary's systematic exposition, even if the exact notation is lost to us, likely helped solidify and refine the methods mathematicians used to work through Diophantine problems and represent their solutions. This would contribute substantially to the evolution of algebraic techniques, though any definitive claims regarding this contribution remain tenuous due to the paucity of evidence. Section 6. The reception and legacy of Hypatia's commentary. The immediate reception of Hypatia's commentary is largely unknown due to the limited surviving fragments. However, the fact that portions of her work survived the destruction of the Library of Alexandria speaks to its perceived value amongst the scholarly community of the time. Furthermore, the continued study of Diophantus' work throughout the centuries, partly fueled by its rediscovery after the Middle Ages, indirectly points to the importance of explanatory commentaries like Hypatia's, even if her specific contributions remain partially obscured. Hypatia's legacy is not wholly defined by the extent of her work's survival. Her existence itself represents a landmark in the history of women in mathematics, demonstrating that considerable intellectual contributions were made by women, even under challenging historical circumstance. Conclusion. Hypatia's commentary on Diophantus, though fragmented, reveals a scholar deeply engaged with the intricacies of indeterminate analysis. Her work, based on extant fragments, highlights a methodology characterized by meticulous explication, detailed explanations of Diophantus' techniques, and a likely focus on enhancing the clarity and accessibility of his procedures. While the lack of complete texts hinders a comprehensive analysis, we can confidently state that Hypatia's contribution lies primarily in her pedagogical approach and her effort to systematize and clarify existing methods, paving the way for a more rigorous understanding and dissemination of Diophantine analysis. While aspects of her work remain obscured by the loss of most primary sources, even the surviving fragments allow for a profound appreciation of her intellectual acuity and her significant contribution to the mathematical landscape. Future discoveries might alter our understanding, but the careful analysis of the existing material solidifies her enduring place in the history of mathematics.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.